Welcome back, everybody. So today we are going to have our third tasting of beer number 8 in my Centennial Cascade 2 hop series. This is Cascade Centennial first wort hop, bottled on 915, 6.93% ABV. First wort hopping, what is it? Well, after, if you do a brew in the bag, something like that, when Vlorloff, once you start draining into the kettle is when you add the hops. And what it's supposed to do is give it a smoother feel, not as harsh. You are going to introduce some more bitterness in there, probably when the temperature gets up over 170, those IBUs are going to start forming instead of putting it in at a boil. But yeah, the goal in first wort hopping, as I understand and as I've seen in this, is it's a more smooth flavor profile that you get. It's not as harsh. So this is using 2 pounds 4 ounces of 2-row. For the first wort hop, this is using 0.25 ounces of Cascade. Then that was the 60-minute edition, so we just bumped it up to that first wort hop. And then in the boil at 10 minutes, we're using 0.25 ounces of Centennial. Then at 5 minutes, 0.25 ounces of Cascade. Then 0.25 ounces of each 3 days into fermentation. So let's go ahead and open this, see what we get. This was using the glass 1.5 gallon Mr. Carboy. And I'm just saying that just in case something starts going wrong, maybe because I'm also using the 2 gallon version, maybe the plastic could give an off flavor later on, but we'll have to see. Not a lot of bubbles in this. This was using the Mr. Beer or Cooper's tablets, carbonation tablets in there. I'm just going to leave the bottom so we don't junk it all up. Could you pour it all in? Yes, but I do want to leave the end because I am drawing everything out of the Mr. Beer. Maybe that bottom one's going to have a lot more settlement because it's all going to go through the spout. So I'm just going to leave the bottom of it in there. Head is dying pretty quick. Small white bubbles is what I have. Color, golden yellow in color, not as bright as I remember on most of these. It is kind of hazy, could be chill haze. I don't see anything floating in there. Medium bubble level, if anything. Let's go ahead and smell, see what we get. Citrus, grapefruit bitterness is what I get. Maybe a little bit of sweetness in there. But for it being 4 or 5 months old, that sweetness is probably going to start driving up a little. Yeah, like a sweeter citrus grapefruit. Kind of low smell, nothing bursting in your face. But it still has that quality of that Centennial Cascade as far as the grapefruit citrus. I'm not getting any floral. But I think with using the Cascade up front on some of these, we've seen using Cascade up front isn't going to give us floral, but using the Centennial is giving us floral, which it's kind of backwards, but hey, it is what it is. Let's go ahead and taste. Citrus, there is a little floral in there, bitterness, sweetness, a little maltiness in there. Aftertaste, there is a lot more bitterness, and I think we're seeing that in these older beers. Like that bitterness is kicking up, but it's got a lot of bitterness, but there is some citrus quality in there. I wouldn't really call it a grapefruit or anything, like a generic citrus in there. Very smooth. Yeah, you get that almost like a floral citrus with some grapefruit in the taste, but then like in the very back and the aftertaste, it's a big bitterness with generic citrus in there. I'm surprised how smooth it is because we're only using 2 row. We're not using flaked oats or anything like that to make the body silky. But yeah, overall, I think it's good. I think I'm starting to learn, at least with Centennial and Cascade, that over time, it's like, I don't know if it's the perceived bitterness, but like I can feel it in my throat. That bitterness is really starting to kick up in these beers. And I'm not sure why. I would have thought they would have faded off more and brought out that grainy malt. I'm not getting as much grainy malt in these last couple tastes as I did in the first. But yeah, I think it's fine. Would I brew it and let it sit this long? No. If I was going to brew this, I would drink it 1 to 2 months, and it would be fine. But it's nice to see what happens depending on how many beers you brew a month, to see what happens to some of these beers. And like I said, I think a lot of these Cascade Centennial beers, that bitterness is like ramping up instead of going down. So yeah, overall, good beer, but I wouldn't make it and let it sit. So if you like any of these videos, or if you like this video, check out some of these other ones over here. And until next time, happy brewing.